7 Little Johnstons. Trent learns for very first time about severity of his astigmatism. It's not good for me. The reality star hears some concerning news following a visit to an ophthalmologist. After receiving some scary results from an MRI last week, Trent Johnston continues to undergo medical tests and meets with an eye doctor in the new episode of 7 Little Johnstons. In a clip shared exclusively with ahead of the episode on Tuesday, February 4, Trent, 48, meets with ophthalmologist Drive Hinson, who after an exam, diagnoses Trent with keratoconus, which he describes as an irregularity on the cornea. Basically, there's a weakened spot in the cornea and it's causing the front surface of his eye to be really irregular shaped. As Trent sits in the exam room with Dr. Hinson explains as he and Trent review his test results. Hinson, he learns the condition's impact has made his eyes almost like a balloon. And if you take a balloon and kind of push on it, how it'll pooch out in an area, that's basically what you've got there. Just kind of pushing out, causing your vision to be very distorted, and it causes it to where glasses really aren't the best option for you, as far as getting you seeing the best that we can. Showing Trent scans of his eye. He explains how this can definitely be causing distortion in your vision. The consultation, Trent says, is the very first time I've had a doctor tell me about my astigmatism, and how bad it is, and that it may not be causing my vertigo or some of my eye movement problems. But either way, it's not good for my eyes, it's not good for my vision. It's not good for me. And it needs to be corrected. Astigmatism, the Mayo Clinic explains, is an imperfection in the curvature in the eye where the eye is egg-shaped and causes blurred or distorted vision. Drive Hinson explains to Trent, who wears glasses, that a switch to hard contact lenses would be a better option that would get him seeing the clearest. What a hard contact does. It actually sits on this area right here, and it artificially makes your eye a normal shape, like a perfectly round eyeball, he says. If the condition continues to worsen even after using rigid, gas-permeable contact lenses, the Mayo Clinic explains that a cornea transplant may be required. When told he would need the hard contact lenses, Trent admitted, "The hard contact lens, when I first hear that, I'm like, ugh." But at this point, Trent says, holding his fists up in victory, "I'm ready to tackle it and ready to get it fixed. I don't like anybody touching my eyes or doing anything." 7 Little Johnstons. Trent and Amber on fear of daughter Elizabeth giving birth with achondroplasia. Though Trent and Amber had their concerns about their daughter's high-risk pregnancy, the couple tells how amazing it's been to see her become a great mom. Trent and Amber Johnston had their reservations about daughter Elizabeth Johnston's high-risk pregnancy. In an exclusive conversation with the 7 Little Johnstons, couple opened up about the worries they had upon learning that Elizabeth was expecting and the complications that can arise when women with achondroplasia give birth. So for Elizabeth, she has to have a C-section under general anesthesia, so therefore she's put to sleep completely. Which is really, really challenging when it comes to getting a baby out fast, Amber says. Our pelvis is too narrow and in a sense kind of fused. Had mom and baby experienced complications before being put under? Amber explains that the anesthesia could have opened up a whole host of complications for Elizabeth and the baby. That's just not a perfect world. She continues, adding how her daughter attempted to soothe her worries upon breaking the news of her pregnancy. Elizabeth is very much like her father, where, "Everything's going to be fine," she jokes before recalling the fateful conversation. "My partner's average size, so we will be okay genetically." And it was like, "Oh no, Mom. We're fine. It doesn't matter. The baby will either be little or big." However, that's not the only problem that can happen, she says. "You're right. It's great. And I'm like, okay, Elizabeth. While Elizabeth may not have had the same concerns, Trent admits that the couple had another fear regarding her hospitalization. When it came time to deliver the baby, Amber and Trent wouldn't be by her side as doctors rolled her into the operating room for her C-section. This was the very first time Amber hadn't gone back with one of our kids. With all the surgeries our kids have had, Amber and I, Trent explains, have always been the one to walk them back to the OR room and to kiss and say bye, and we'll be right outside when you come into recovery. Instead, Bryce was there this time. Her boyfriend Bryce Bolden was the one to do the honors. You know, Elizabeth and Bryce, this was their child and they needed to be together for this, but still. As parents, that's our daughter going back and going on with surgery and it's not us walking her back there, Trent says. So that was tough. In November 2023, Elizabeth had welcomed her daughter Layton Drew Bolden with Bolin. At birth, the baby girl weighed 5 pounds, 9 ounces. The wait is finally over. We're excited to introduce our baby to the world. Now that Layton has been introduced to the world. Amber and Trent say it's been awesome to see Elizabeth settle into her new role as a mother. She is a great mom, and I knew that she was going to do amazing, and she really has, Amber says with a smile. I will say that her and I have probably become even closer because now that she's a mom, she's like, I get it, Mom. I'm glad because just wait until she's 16. We've been telling you this for 22 years. And I'm like, yeah, good. Y'all don't get it until you have your own child, Trent adds with a laugh. And we promised her, we said, Elizabeth, dear, these are the easy days. But when they turn into something like you right now when you're pregnant for 21 weeks, and wait until you decide to tell Mom and Dad. Those are the tough days. But it is amazing to watch your kids become parents, he raves. And Elizabeth is a nurse and she already has a huge tender love and caring bone in her body, and that helps to be a mom too.